Well, it's time for a new top list video. My first top list video I did a couple months ago was a pretty good video, but only had less views. Yikes. So I decided to make a new top list video. This time it's going to be on top 5 instead of top 10, because this video is going to be different. Thankfully, the category for this video is on movies. I've talked about movies so many times in past videos. In fact, they're my favorite out of the media content videos, whether it's from a movie I grew up a little, or a modern movie that came out for a year or more. It feels like movies have changed and evolved since. So, for this top list, I'm going to do something very passionate for me. I have planned it for a long time. It's going to be my top 5 most watched movies. That's right, I'm going to pick 5 movies that I've watched the most since I was a kid, which means there won't be latest movies on this list. Now, the list doesn't mean they're my comfort movies. I know what the term is, but before I get to the list, here are some quick honorable mentions, since the honorable mention was just hard to pick the list. Some movies that are my guilty pleasures, like Little Rascals and Space Jam, deserved on the list, which that was an easy one to choose. Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events was another one I remember watching during my tween years. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Number 5, Shrek 2. This is the only animated movie on this list, and my most watched of animated movies. The first time I watched it was in theaters, and I was loving it. Even to this day, I go back and forth between this one and the first Shrek movie, but it is hard to choose. Anyways, between tween years and in between adult years, I kept watching more. I think the jokes in this movie throws a lot, and that's why I actually like this movie. And that's why I kept watching over and over. I am going to talk about this movie in 2024 as a review and an anniversary video. But man, Shrek 2 was a great one to put on the list. Number 4, Home Alone. Easily one of my favorite Christmas movies, as I discussed briefly about the movie in It's a Wonderful Life video I did back in December. Man, this is one of the few movies that generally defines the 90s. Heck, it came out in the beginning of the decade. Also, I am going to talk about this movie as an episode of Media Memories, which is completed, but it won't be up until late next year. Anyways, I have watched this movie a lot, both as a kid and as of now, especially when I watched during the holiday seasons. Although I watched it a few times, not during winter time. After I was an adult, I still keep watching this movie. The last time I watched this movie, when it was on Disney Plus in 2020. So yeah, this movie was definitely one of my childhood favorites, and hopefully one day it will be in my top 3, but as of now, it stays on the number 4 spot. Number 3, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, you knew this was going to be on the list. This was a tough toss-up between this and Home Alone, but I had to put this on number 3. I've done a video about this movie in the anniversary video, along with Raiders of the Lost Ark, if you want to check the video out. I still stand by that it was a good timing to watch the movie in 2005, because the remake, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, came out during the summer. I will say, I didn't mention this in the anniversary video, but I will now. I have watched the movie about 3.5 times during that same year. And yes, I'm not making this up. When I had summer school in 2005, I had to watch it twice in 2 classrooms. However, the first one, we didn't watch the whole way through, so it was half of it. So yeah, I had to mention it. Also, I got the DVD in 2006, so not long after my mom got the VHS. Then in 2010, I kept watching the movie about 3 times on the ABC Family channel. I couldn't help it. But as of now, I haven't watched it since 2014, and I will watch the movie again anytime soon. I think Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is just a delightful movie that I just couldn't help. It will stay on this list. Number 2, The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I haven't talked about this movie on this channel before. Well, here's Wizard of Oz on number 2. This movie I could not stop watching as a kid. In fact, I will discuss it in a media memories video on this movie that will come out next year. But regardless, this movie I watched over and over up and before I turned into an adult. Well, here are a few reasons. One, this movie came out in 1939. It is that time period. Two, I remember every scene and every line, though I will admit it was hard to focus on some dialogue you never heard of. But hey, it's one of the most quotable movies of all time. Do I need to say more? Mainly, it was the book by L. Frank Baum that was the closest adaptation, and the movie is the closest to the source material. And we all know kids enjoy the book. Heck, I read it in 6th grade. Still, The Wizard of Oz is one of my early childhood movies to watch, and I was 4 back in 1999. Will I ever watch it again? Maybe in the future. The last time I watched it was almost 10 years ago, but it will happen soon. I couldn't leave a movie from my childhood behind. I have watched this about 12 times, and that is why it is my second most watched movie. Well, now we're down to the last one for number 1. What movie that will be my most watched movie? For number 1 is an underrated gem called Holes. Yep, this is hands down my most watched movie. Okay, let's discuss about this. This movie Holes was based off the book of the same name by Louis Sacker, and my brother did have the book. And for my first time watching the movie was in theaters. Then a year later, 2004, I got the DVD of it. When I was around 10 or 11, I didn't watch all of it much, but I kept it in my DVD collection. Then everything changed in the year 2011 and after. I have watched the movie over and over and over again, especially the commentary on the DVD, which that's probably my favorite commentary out of any DVDs I've ever listened. I will say, I haven't watched the movie in about 5 years. I actually want to watch the movie again. Yeah, I know, I'm picking this one over the other 4. With those, yeah, I can watch it once in a while for like over 3 years. This one, I want to watch more. In fact, I have watched it more times than The Wizard of Oz. As of now, I want to watch the movie on Disney Plus for the first time and to see if the quality has changed. That's one thing I didn't talk about, the quality, which I'm sure looks great in high definition rather than standard definition. I have watched it on DVD and it was in pretty good quality and it will look great in HD. Okay, aside from that all, this movie has been one of my favorites and still underrated. Not many people talk about it much. In fact, next year, I am actually going to do a review and an anniversary video, which, by the way, it will turn 20, and I can't wait to do a full-on video on this movie. So yeah, Holes is my most watched movie out of any movies I've watched in the past 20 plus years, and who knows one day if it will change. So yeah, that is all for this video. This video is actually a blast to do, which I probably like this one more than the Pokemon video, but there will be top 10 or top 5 list with movie related videos coming in the future, so maybe it will happen, but I'll never tell. So yeah, I will see you guys next week.